self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists.
Hey, what's up? I'm Calamity Red.
And I am Mr. On Point. Hopefully, by this time, you know we are Conversation Con Artists. And we're about to get into another episode this week. What's going on, Red?
Trying to get over this cold, man. My mom took sharing to a whole nother level. She decided to share her germs with me. So I'm like, ugh, feel gross. But I'm good.
At least y'all probably likely to have the same body defense mechanisms that can knock it out.
Nah, I think she's a little tougher than me. So
really,
yeah, she sound like Kermit the Frog right now. She went to work, so I would have been at home. So we're a little different.
I got you. Well, I guess we're gonna get into this week's episode. I got some stuff to talk about.
There's always stuff to talk about.
I mean, it's constantly stuff going on in our society. So I mean, with deliberate nonsense, we just gonna get into some of these societal happenings. The first thing I got is a Missouri bill that would strip scholarships if athletes strike. Now, as we know, the University of Missouri recently had a situation in which a student went on a hunger strike, and subsequently, all of the football players said, hey, we are not going to play until this chancellor or president, whoever he was, steps down. And I think that their strike and the support of the athletic department pushed that decision by the round table group of people that's involved in that situation. And so now a bill is proposed that would strip students of their scholarships if they strike.
Here's my problem with that. And my problem is this, that it's a bill. If this was like a something that the school wanted to do to protect themselves, because I don't think that it's right, but I look at it, if it was something at the school level, kind of the same way as the scholarship we're giving to you to do this particular thing, and if you refuse to do this particular thing, we're going to pull the scholarship. I could understand that more at a school level than I could like a bill being passed like that. And this isn't a state-funded institution. This is a private institution, so it isn't like the state stepping in because they fund it. Like, that's my problem with it, is that I don't know that it's a bill.
It might be a state-funded institution, but according to the athletic student handbook, the athletic department, they operate on their own funds.
Yeah, so even if the school
is funded by the state, the athletic department fund from their own money.
So that, I just don't understand that aspect of it. And the thing about it, I mean, we talked about this, is that if the students want to do it, they're still going to do it. Like, yeah. They're still going to strike.
I understand what you're saying. Like, why is it legislation?
Yeah.
And why is it not rules implemented in the school or in scholarship? You know, like, I'm sure you guys sign a piece of paper with scholarship.
Yeah.
And it's regulations and rules regarding around how you keep your scholarship. Like, yeah. Why would it be at the legislative level rather than the school level?
You get into a lot with that, because then you create a precedent where they can create legislation. This is for football scholarships, but what about academic scholarships? Like, we get into this slippery slope of how involved are you going to let the government be in setting the standards for these things that are provided by the school? Like, I don't understand why it's a bill.
Well, I guess when you get into the representatives that have put this bill up, it could be a variety of things. They could be alumni from the University of Missouri and didn't like what was going on the campus. It could be that they knew the president, you know, and somehow have come into contact with him, given their position and given that he's the president of the college. Or it could be one of those situations in which it has a racial component to it. Mm-hmm. Because I think what I read was that they were not satisfied with how the school handled the unrest from the students, mm-hmm. which means they didn't like that the subsequent action from that was to release the president.
Yeah.
But they not saying we had a problem with the problems that preceded to that situation. And that's something that consistently happens in America. We are not focusing on what precedes issues. We're focusing on these little isolated incidences that come from them. Like, oh, we're focusing on the protests. Oh, we're focusing on the rioting. oh, we're focusing on how, this president got removed, but we're not talking about the things that preceded that.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get rid of a tree by starting at the leaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we finna knock this tree down out this backyard. So I want y'all to start with the leaves and then go for the, like, you gotta cut it at the root.
Yeah.
Because if you have a person that does not cause the issues or handles the issues better than that president did, you're never gonna have that unrest.
Yeah.
You're never gonna have a student that feel like they need to go on a hunger strike. You're never gonna have a football team that have to follow up with that student and the hunger strike.
Yeah.
So cutting it off at the root is finding out what the beginning of this thing is and knocking that out of the way.
Your willingness to give people the benefit of a doubt, so nice, and I just can't do it. I can do it. I think I choose not to. But I don't know. I think those other possibilities that you stated are, in fact, possibilities. Are they likely? I don't know. Like, I think this is a good way for the school to not be assholes or not look like assholes, right? It's an asshole move, but we ain't gonna do it. We're just gonna let somebody else do it, and then we don't have to touch it, and it's not us. It's coming from above us. We can't do anything about it. Our hands are tied.
Well, if that's the case, then they gotta have a round table discussion for that, because otherwise, what do the representatives even get out of it? Like, somebody had to sit in front of the representatives and say, hey, we want our hands clean of any kind of bill that can come from this. So at some level, even if it is a racial component, a relationship has to be crafted between the head of the school and the representatives to make something like that happen. Yeah. Which is how I think America operates. I think that people go by, it's a lot of behind closed doors meetings that happen with a lot of people that making a lot of decisions that influence a lot of people. We just don't have access to them meetings because it's a certain level of wealth, it's a certain level of notoriety, and it's a certain level of power that comes with access to that stuff.
Well, the only time we get access to those meetings is if the two people in the meetings get to fighting like our mayor did. So then we get to see what the meetings are about.
We don't even know what they fought about, though.
Right.
We just know they got into a fight in a closed door meeting, and we don't know what it was about.
And both of them had to be sent to the hospital because Alabama. Like, what? Ridiculous. Politics is...
Politics are weird, man. These people get out here and do what they want to do. I don't like it. But this also gets into the First Amendment. Like, can rules and regulations really strip you of your ability to do that stuff? I mean, yes, in society it can, but...
Because the thing is, they're not saying that you can't. They're saying you can, but if you do, we're going to take this thing that we gave to you. So, and I don't know. To me... This is one of those gray areas where it's kind of hard because on the one hand, in any other situation, I would say you absolutely can say whatever it is you want, but you have to, you're going to have the consequences that come along with that. I've said that before on the podcast. So on the one hand, I feel that way. On the other hand, I do feel like the students should have the right to protest things that they feel like are unfair or unjust, especially if they've gone about different channels and other avenues and nobody gave a shit. I get it, but it's like, it's one of those gray areas because it's like, on the one hand, like I said, I always say, you can say whatever you want, do whatever you want, but there's consequences that come with that. This could be one of those consequences for them, but should it be, I guess, is where I'm confused.
Well, I don't know. But what if it's legitimate? What if there is a legitimate thing that's going on that these students legitimately have a problem with? You are saying that you either have to be quiet about this thing that you truly have a problem with to keep your scholarship, or you lose your scholarship for, voicing your concerns about what could be a potential threat or problem. Yeah. Think about a Sandusky at a school. And think about what if a situation like that the students knew that somebody was doing, or the athletes knew that somebody in that organization was doing that, and they weren't comfortable with that, and they wanted to protest that. When you put legislation like this in, it shuts people up when it should be sometimes they should be speaking out. Because what will eventually happen is there will be a complete culture of students turning a blind eye to stuff because I'm here for my scholarship. Yeah. I need this. You know what I'm saying? Are my morals and what I would like to say worth more than what could be my livelihood and my future? Yeah. When you put people in that position, you're going to create a culture of an environment in which there's things going on at your campus that you should know about that you don't. Yeah, until it's too late. Until it's gotten too far. The problem with the strike is that The strike was for everybody else to know about it.
Yeah.
Because the school knew about it.
And they didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't care. They
Yeah.
didn't do nothing about it. But the strike was for everybody to know. And so this press just bad for a school. So I can understand why you would do this.
Yeah.
But the implications and all of the residual effects from having legislation that does that, it has a potential to go too far.
They don't think about that though. They just want what they want, right? They want to save and protect themselves. They're not thinking about the lasting impact that this could have or the domino effect that this could have. They just want to, it's CYA, basically.
It is what it is. I guess we just gonna have to continue to be subjugated by the rules that these people make until we get in the position to make those rules, which will take some time.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, I think that we can get into a position where we are more involved with politics and a point that we put people in a position that can be better than what we have. But it's going to take some time because what we have are a bunch of people that don't need to be there. And it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of opposition to get those people out because they don't want to be out. It's power.
Yeah.
It represents power.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is going to come of this bill. But
I hope it don't get passed because that's just going to be a can of worms that don't need to be opened. Talk about Pandora's box. This just...
like you said, it ain't going to make no difference. Students are going to still protest.
Because if you think about it at that age, you get to be older and you start thinking about the repercussions of things, But at that age, you're still in that, I'm just going to do this at this moment because, you're still in that live in the moment. Your brain hasn't completely... So they're absolutely... Like, they make bad decisions on stupid shit. So they absolutely, if this is what they feel like doing, that's what's going to happen. So it's not going to matter. Like, if they're going to protest, they're going to protest. This isn't going to stop them. And if they're good enough football players, they can go to another school to play. Yeah, absolutely. They probably be getting courted by other fucking schools anyway.
You got to think about the people we talking about. You talking about the scholarship students. You think about students who think they good anyway.
Yep.
And who probably are good.
Yep.
And the school could potentially lose a lot of money from this.
They will lose a lot of money from
y'all gonna lose y'all scholarship. Well, you're gonna lose your football team. And this is a team you have to build. So it could potentially be 2 or 3 years that you don't have a team that will return you the income that you were getting from a team that could potentially win a scholarship.
Yep.
Not a scholarship, a championship.
Championship, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So.
Stupid. It's just stupid.
They don't have the ability to look at the big picture and how everything can come from it.
Nope.
But then again, this just might be two lone wolf politicians with their own racial predispositions and just didn't like the idea that, these group of people about racial issues that a lot of people in society don't believe exist anymore because this is post-racial America.
Bullshit.
That they wanted to be defenders of that.
Yeah.
And so that could very much be it.
There's a reason why this segment is called Deliberate Nonsense. This is exactly why.
It is what it is. So the next thing I got is Walmart increasing pay in several states. It's not really a story, but I read the article for Alabama that they were increasing pay to $15, and then I got up on and read the comments, and people were like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. So I don't know, but upon searching in Google, it's a lot of states they increasing the pay. Good. Some of them are increasing to 15, some of the 13, some of it to 10, but they increasing it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's good. And it sounds like Walmart is doing this. It don't sound like the legislation in these places are changing. Yeah. It sounds like Walmart is doing it. So I just wonder what that is.
Maybe they're getting back to how they were before. Because they used to be a company that cared more.
I doubt that.
You don't think so?
Not in corporate America. Once you become franchised, the Waltons are separated from Walmart now.
Oh yeah, they are.
Like Sam Walton was the one who was like, this is my dream.
Yeah.
I have morals. This is a place that I want to build families with.
Yeah.
And once he died and gave his money to all the other kids, it's a round table group of people that said, hey kids. It's like the dude with the van with the candy. Hey kids. I got $18 million for you. You can take this $18 million and go on about your business and we'll handle this. That's what the round table do. When a company becomes franchised, it starts to lose whatever core values it was connected to. Because the people that take over it from a franchise are business minded.
Yeah.
They're not concerned about that core value. They're concerned about customer retention and low turnover rates.
Well,
and
maybe that's
capital
what it
gains.
is, though. Maybe because Walmart have been getting bad press about the way they treated their employees. So maybe they're trying to.
Yeah. I remember one time
Change that over.
I remember one time I was in Walmart, and it was this man. He had like a big party holiday tailgate pack of wings, and he dropped it like at the checkout register, and the wings they were just spread out all over the floor, and like 5 employees in the vicinity were just laughing, like just laughing. Nobody was finna do anything. I was like, that's terrible. Like, he should have just started picking wings up and throwing them all around the place. That's how I felt. He should. I'm glad it wasn't me, in that situation. But I was like, and so from there, I lost respect for Walmart employees. Not to mention when I go in there at nighttime.
Oh shit! Don't.
You can't get help.
No,
you can't get help. Like, and I understand, but if you're a 24-hour place, you need to dedicate somebody to helping people. Like, they be Ray Charles to you in there.
Oh hell yeah!
They pretend like you ain't.
Yep.
If you look at them, it's like they intentionally trying not to look at you. Please don't need help. Please don't need help. Please don't take something out the shelf I'm stocking. Please don't take something out the shelf I'm stocking. They just messed up my organization. They just pretend like, you might as well just pretend. It's like in England, those dudes with the big black hats in their head. It's like you can go up to a Walmart employee and just put stuff on top of their head, and they just gonna pretend like you not there. Like, that's how avoided I feel when I'm in Walmart.
It's terrible. So maybe this is a way, because Walmart, it doesn't have the best of reputations now. So maybe this is a way to increase the employee morale. So maybe they'll like fucking do their jobs.
Have you been to Publix?
Yeah.
Like, in Publix, somebody on the other end of the aisle
that's
on the floor stocking stuff, they will get up, walk to you, and say, "How you doing, sir? Can I help you with something?" Like, I have yet. Put it like this: that happened so much that if a Publix employee has wronged me, I don't even remember. I don't think one has, but if they have, it happens so little. Yeah. All I can remember are when they are so helpful. Like, I have to turn down help multiple times in Publix.
Yep.
That's in Walmart, the help you get is not sufficient.
It's not, because if you ask them about something, they'll point you in the wrong direction, or they'll just be like, "Oh, that ain't my department. I don't know." Well, find out. Don't you work here? Like, you can't get on that. Don't try to walk into, like, you. That's it. You don't know. That's all.
The next time somebody say something like that to me, I'm gonna say, "Well, what is your department?" And I'm just gonna ask them all kind of questions. That'll be hilarious.
Yeah, it will.
But maybe they know about this dialogue. Maybe corporate Walmart franchise owners know about this dialogue that me and you having, and they're trying to find a way to get their employees more involved in the customer experience.
Yeah, because it's terrible.
But because it's about money. It's about how can we give our organization a better perception.
Yep, so people will shop there more.
Yeah, and so maybe that's a part of it.
Yeah.
Especially since they're choosing to do it on their own. Or maybe they're not waiting for legislation. Maybe they just feel like legislation going to eventually give people money, and they just going to do it on their own terms.
Yeah.
So that it's no surprise, it's no force. You know what I'm saying? Behind doing that. That could be a thing.
It could be.
I don't know. Well, my mom done worked at Walmart my whole life.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And Walmart is responsible vicariously through how I've seen her, situation at Walmart problematic. That's a lot of my views come from that.
Yeah.
But I do shop at Walmart. I mean, I can't say I have a problem with Walmart. I mean, it's the only 24-hour place.
Exactly.
Out
That's
there,
what
so
it is.
Convenience.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And so, I mean, how much problem can I really have with a place if I shop there still, even for convenience sake?
Yeah.
If I knew I needed stuff, I would just go to somewhere else that had it before they close.
Yeah.
And get it.
Don't buy eggs from them because they're assholes. Their eggs are so expensive. Why are their eggs
That's
so
lately.
expensive?
It was an egg shortage in
I
the
know,
South
but
recently.
why is it still
I think Walmart,
expensive?
I think they ride them trains out. I think that I think they just let it be high as they can until their egg sales decline, and then they put it back where it was.
I will not buy eggs in there.
I'm just saying, because I buy 60 container eggs.
Dang.
Yeah, and the lowest.
You bake a lot though.
I eat a lot of eggs too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ate eggs when we were little, a lot of them.
The incredible edible egg. You remember that commercial?
I remember. When I like egg beaters.
From my head down to my. Yeah, I think so.
I think that was them fake eggs.
Yep.
The stuff you gotta ask IHOP not to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to. But the lowest I remember seeing that 60 carton of eggs within the last year is $7.50.
Damn.
Now they like $14.50. Yeah.
Smoking crack. There's no way I would pay 50.
If I go to Walmart to buy stuff, I do not buy eggs. I go somewhere else to get eggs. Like until they bring their prices back down.
Yeah.
But I think we see that trend over a lot of stuff. Because one time it was with milk.
Yeah.
It'd be with different things. I think that when gas initially went up, everything went up at Walmart. But when you saw stuff going down everywhere else, it was still up at Walmart. So I just think they ride that train for as long as they can, and then they go down. Bastards. After they realize they sales going down from these specific things, they be like, okay, let's lower all the prices now. And then, they sales go back up because everybody's like, oh, Walmart is cheap. You don't realize how long that they've been, scrounging you for this thing that should have been cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Walmart. I mean, I'm glad to see that.
No, it's good. I mean, we just went on a whole tirade against them. But the moral of the story is that it's great that the employees getting paid more.
And like the critical part of this whole environment and culture of we need more money, $15 an hour, the whole thing about it that people have been critical of is, I don't make that much, and if they gonna get paid that, it need to be better service. They need to have a better attitude. Like that's how critical we gonna be of them in that situation. Right. So it's like, if you paying them that much, I don't feel that way. I just don't feel it's my place to be critical about that because I have run into some good employees at some decent people at Walmart. So I don't feel like painting with a broad brush, but I would hope that if they're making this move to make the customer experience better through the employees, I hope it comes with training. I hope it comes with something on Walmart side that's telling them, hey, this pay increase is for a particular thing. It's to build a better relationship with our customers because, they don't think that y'all are very helpful. So be helpful. be available.
Or be gone.
Exactly. Like know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But potentially, I think all of these places, if you give everybody $15 at all these places, a lot more people going to put in applications. A lot more people going to get jobs. And it's going to be an opportunity to weave out people that just are not good at those places.
Yeah.
Because they're full of people who are suck at their jobs, but don't nobody else want to do it.
Yeah.
Because they don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It is what it is. This next situation I got, I don't know any names. Like I told y'all before, I'm bad with names, so I don't even try to remember. It's a young white male that some time ago, it might have been about a year ago, maybe more than that.
Oh, this little bitch. Okay.
he got off from killing 4 people on a defense they call the affluenza defense. Now, if you don't know anything about this case, it was a young boy. He was under 16 years old. He took a pill, drank some alcohol, got in a big truck, and sped down the road, going way over the speed limit, and ended up hitting and killing 4 people. The lawyer used the affluenza defense. The affluenza defense means that this child's parents had so much money as he was growing up that they didn't get an opportunity to teach him about the consequences of negative behavior because he had access to so many things in his life. And so he's not responsible for his actions because they were too wealthy to teach him that.
So let me just pause right there for a quick little second. So what I don't understand is why there is not a law on the opposite end of this that says you came from a broken home and your parents, you came from a single mother and she had to work her ass off and she was never there. And so because she had to work so much, she was unable to teach you the difference between right and wrong. And so you're not responsible for this bullshit that you did. Why is there not one on the opposite end of that?
Because poor people don't work their ass off. They're poverty stricken. They're at home on welfare and they're at home doing drugs and they just sit around all day and all they have time to do is teach their kids consequences about life and all of that. So they are held responsible for it because that's what they do.
That makes no sense
because
at all.
It's absolutely not true at
Oh
all.
my God. That pisses me off. Like, that is first of all, it's the stupidest defense I've ever heard in my life. So your parents are rich, so you're not responsible? What kind of shit is that? You should be more fucking responsible for. The fact that he even had access to this F-150 or whatever the fuck he was driving, they just give you the keys to this big ass truck and that's okay, and you just mow down 4 people and it's all right.
And you know what? What's the stopping point? Like, what if it was 6 people? What if it was 10 people? What if it was 20 people? Like, at what point would he have been responsible for how many people that he injured?
And I won't say that he's gonna kill any more people. He will most definitely be involved in some more fuck shit. And you know why? Because he has been taught through this and through probably everything else in his life that there's no consequences for shit that he does. He is not responsible. So when you give somebody this air of I don't have any responsibility in this isn't my fault, they're gonna do a whole lot of shit that they shouldn't do. I would imagine he's gonna get into tons more trouble.
And not only did he already have that air of responsibility with his parents, the justice system said the same thing. His lawyer, the judge, the jury, everybody agreed with that situation.
Bullshit is what that is.
So what happened from that is the judge said, okay, no, you're not responsible. The jury said, yeah, no, he's not responsible. So he got put on probation and sent to some kind of cabin that nobody else in the inner city would ever be able to pay for therapy for affluenza, which is literally something the lawyer made up. So how is there a therapy cabin for this thing? Now, I have to say that this same judge sentenced the young African-American male to time to serve, I don't remember how much, for getting into a street fight, regular street fight, and the person that he was fighting with fell onto the sidewalk, hit their head, and died. Something that was very obviously an accident, and he got time served for it. But this kid that maliciously did all of these things intentionally and ended up in 4 deaths, he got off of it. But the reason that I brought it up is because a video surfaced online, which you can't do nothing these days.
Nope.
Like, don't do anything where other people are with cell phones, which is every single place, everywhere in America right now.
Yep.
Everywhere in the world right now.
Really? Yeah.
And a video surfaced of him being at a party where they was drinking, people were being wild, they were jumping all over tables.
You mean he didn't learn a lesson for being out in the cabin with his iPod and his iPhone and his iPad and his all that shit? He ain't learned a lesson? I can't believe that.
Exactly. He should have.
He should have learned a lesson.
It was a cabin.
I know, roughing it in the woods.
You know how many lessons get learned at cabins?
You know?
All of them.
Oh, man.
So, he's disappeared now. Because of that party and that video surfacing, him and his mom cannot be found now.
Because he was a fucking flight risk because of his affluenza and the fact that they were so fucking affluent. Of course they had the money to disappear where he violate the conditions of his damn probation. Stupid. It's just stupid. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It gets into the situation where there are 2 different Americas. One that you can afford and one that you can't afford. You know, it's a bunch of different Americas, but in the context of this conversation, wealth give you access to one that you can kill 4 people and get off on it and go to a cabin and spend some time there and then disappear when it looks like they finna come and get you. But on the other end, you don't have access to any of that. If you're poverty stricken and you do the slightest of crime, not even looking at the statistics that show that black people typically get the shaft way more than other people in America, and that brown people still get the shaft more than white people in America, even if you're not African American. Forgetting those statistics, you know, if you're poor, you're going to get the shaft.
Yep.
And I think in a lot of cases that traverses around the color barrier as well. Like, I think if you're white and poor, you might have some level of protection, but you still don't get as harsh consequences as people that are wealthy and white, you know?
Hell no.
So it's crazy. It's enough money to keep you from getting, and this ain't new.
No,
we've been new this.
Yeah.
We've been new that money.
But it's just, now you're creating conditions like affluenza. I just don't understand. That is one of the most ridiculous things I think I've ever heard. So
I feel like the judge, like, I already believe that a judge is a very, very subjective.
Oh, yeah.
Judges get to interpret the law subjectively as possible.
Yep.
They get to use their own predispositions. Like, lawyers know what criminals are likely to be held accountable in certain different ways by judges. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a judge that lost a child at some point in their life, the lawyer is going to go to them for all of the child abuse cases.
Yep.
You know, if you have a daughter that's been sexually assaulted as a judge, they're going to send all of those cases. The lawyer going to, like, the justice system is so subjective. Like, there is no way that a lawyer should have put up this defense. But I understand the lawyer in this situation more than anybody, because lawyers are bullshitters anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they have knowledge, they have education, but their job is to convince people of something that they need them to believe.
Exactly.
So I understand the lawyer coming up with whatever he got to come up for his client. But then the jury, you have to convince 12 people in this situation that this boy is too rich. People that are, mind you, probably poor.
As hell.
Ain't no way in hell if I was in the jury, as poor as I am, missing work, getting a quarter of my money because I'm in jury duty, and free lunch. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way a lawyer finna tell me this kid, you know, is too rich to know the consequences of it. That's either the best lawyer ever or the dumbest jury ever.
My vote's gonna be for dumbest jury ever.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just don't like how juries are chosen. I just don't like the fact that you could literally pick 12 people that's dumb as a box of rocks. I don't know. I feel like that there should be a group of people in every state, every city that are well trained to hear all these cases. That random selection stuff, that's stupid to me.
Yeah, it is.
But then, after you deal with a lawyer that's intentionally supposed to do that, after you deal with a dumbest box of rocks jury, the judge of all people is supposed to say, hey, that is bullshit. No, I'm not letting that fly. But she let it fly. And subsequently, she did not run for re-election the next time. She let her seat go after that because she wasn't going to be, her credibility was gone.
Yeah, hell yeah, you let somebody off for affluenza. That sounds like flu. That sounds like fluenza. That sounds like some bullshit. What that sounds like.
Yeah. No, the next thing I got is going to be a quick little update on the Freddie Gray situation, since, I don't know, did we talk about Freddie Gray?
No.
We haven't talked about Freddie Gray in the podcast. Freddie Gray is the guy in Chicago that got pulled around in a van and his neck broke, and it's supposed to be like 5 or 6 officers responsible. Well, the first officer that they tried was the African-American officer, male officer involved, and it ended up being a mistrial.
Because America.
Yeah, America. Now, the first problem in this whole situation is the other 5 cops involved have pleaded the fifth in everything. All of them are pleading the fifth. So, if there is a truth to be told, it speaks volumes that none of them are even trying to tell any kind of truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A smarter move to me would be for all of them to have got together and come up with some artificial truth. It would be wrong and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But if I was one of them, I'd be like, we got to come up with a story, y'all. Like, this ain't, something gonna happen with this.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't even do that and they're all pleading the fifth means that the lengths that they are willing to go to protect each other far outweigh giving an accurate account of what happened to the people, helping the community understand what happened. And to me, it makes me seem like there was definitely wrongdoing.
Oh, hell yeah. It definitely was.
But what I heard is they do rough rides a lot. Like, rough rides is where they put people in the back of a truck, don't seatbelt them up, and then they ride rough on purpose. Like, after doing research and reading about it, like, rough rides is a thing amongst police, at least in that area. I said Chicago. I meant Baltimore, right? Freddie Gray was Baltimore, not Chicago. Chicago was Laquan McDonald.
Oh, okay. It's been so many of them.
Yeah, it is.
You can't even keep them straight.
Get which black dude got killed straight.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Sad.
And so another component is, I think that the jury was all white, right? Mm-hmm. And the cop was African American. And so in America, an all white jury would dictate that most of the time the African American is going to be put down the hole. Mm-hmm. He's gonna go down. But in this case, it didn't. And so what it makes me wonder is, does being a police officer trump his blackness in this situation?
I think in this particular situation, because in them protecting him, they're also protecting those other 5, right? Because if they pled the 5th, his ended in a mistrial. Yeah. Everybody's golden at the end of it for right now anyway. So I think in this particular case, yes, him being a police officer, because it's for the greater good in their terms. Like, it's obviously not good, but for their goals, for the greater good, yeah, that works out better for them to protect him.
And it vicariously protects the other officers involved in the situation. And for those of you listening who might disagree with what I just said, it's founded by facts. If you look up all white juries versus white Americans versus all white juries versus African Americans, just look at those statistics and see what you come up with. And so that is a thing with black men versus all white juries, you know. So that's just a dynamic that it brought up for me. Yeah. Very weird.
It is.
Interesting. But this is America.
It's America.
And this is what we get.
It is.
You know what they say? Be careful of the country you keep. That's not what they say. I just said it. The last thing I got is William Cosby. Bill Cosby. I don't know much about the story and what's happening, but I just, you know, in my Facebook feed, it just popped up. He's suing 7 other women for defamation.
And I just find it, you know, a little curious that he was defamed, according to him, by all of these women. Why are you only choosing 7 in which to sue? Because for me, that means that, oh, they lying. I never touched them. Now, the rest of them, okay. But these 7, no, not these 7. Because why wouldn't you sue everybody involved? If you didn't do anything and you're going to go so far as to have a defamation suit, wouldn't you sue all of the women?
Well, I don't think Bill Cosby is like a serial rapist. I don't think that he's taking trophies from these women after he do stuff with them. I think Bill Cosby was just a man that's famous, that was getting in positions, and he probably don't remember most of these women. To be real.
So you think he just forgot these 7?
He did probably the only 7 he remembered that he know he didn't do, and it's probably like 10 that he remembered that he said, well, I see how that can be interpreted. Kind of weird, so I ain't gonna mention them. And then it's like 30 of them that he's like, I don't remember. And there's probably more of them that just didn't come out. Yeah. And he probably remembered like, I wonder where she at. You know what? I don't know. If I was Bill Cosby, I pretend like I got dementia or something.
I mean, I know that sounds
bad. I know that sounds bad. That sounds terrible.
But at like, this point, I don't even know that it would matter. Like, you know, what really pissed me off when this whole thing happened is that everybody kept talking about how his legacy was ruined, like somebody else did it. He fucking ruined it himself. Like, what do you mean? Nobody's ruining shit for him. If he did this, he's a terrible person. He belongs on Rape Island when I get my islands together. And I just... what do you tell? He ruined his own legacy. So at this point, I feel like even if he were to claim dementia, it don't matter. Like, the damage is done, and what he's gonna be known for now more than anything else is the Cosby Show and raping women.
I don't know if this correlation is relevant or not, but, and I know it's not rape, but Charlie Sheen is still loved amongst people. Like, he's still supported in society. Like,
some people, I think
if it comes out that he had sex with a whole bunch of women knowing that he had AIDS unprotected, then what's gonna happen to Charlie Sheen?
That's true.
You know, I
mean,
can't
they prosecute him for that? There's a charge for that? If you can prove that the person knowingly engaged in sexual behavior and didn't disclose that and knew that there's a charge, but I can't remember what it's called.
And I'm just saying that to say, I feel like they went extra hard at Bill Cosby.
I mean, maybe so. But my problem with that thinking is that...
Did they remove his star?
Did they remove his star? Probably so.
I think they removed his star. Like, they went extra hard on Bill Cosby. They could disconnect all his access to Hollywood, to media.
They pulled everything.
From allegations.
Yeah.
Now, we can sit here and put together whether we believe it happened or not logically based on all the amount of people, the amount of time, the pictures, the reports, and Bill Cosby's silence. We can do that. But they went extra hard on Bill Cosby from allegations. They disconnected themselves.
Well, but you know, this time, Because this isn't the first time that he's been accused of this, and it's been kind of like brushed off. Like, this is the first time it's stuck, and like, people got really upset about it. But this isn't the first time he's been accused of this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I'm just interested to see how it play out. If I was Bill Cosby, I'd come to interviews with my sweat on backwards and my shoes untied. Corn in my beard. Like chocolate on my face. And when they say you got some chocolate on the side of your face, I'll wipe the other side and keep wiping it like... I know that sounds bad.
It does.
I don't know. I be trying to figure out how to get out of this situation.
But I don't think that's in his personality. That doesn't seem like the direction he's gonna take in this. And just from the very fact that he's... And again, I just find it questionable that you're only going to sue these 7 instead of everybody that made the allegations, because they're all equally responsible. If you feel like you were defamed and these women are to blame, these lies that they told on you are to blame for the way that your career has gone, all of the women are responsible then. It's either all of them or none of them. The fact that you picked out 7, to me, means that some shit the other one said must have been true, but you not to like sue them too. So I don't know. It's weird.
You probably don't remember. I'm telling you. That's what I think. Somebody been advising Bill Cosby on what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he stayed silent for too long.
Yeah.
At this point, but I'm interested to see how this play out.
Yeah.
It's really questioned the amount of integrity that I thought Bill Cosby had.
Yeah.
One, as Heathcliff Huxtable, clearly sometimes it's hard to separate the real person from the character that they portray.
It is.
But then, hearing him speak out to colleges about, the black family, the black male, the absence of the black male, being so critical of African American society without really contributing in his own ways, I don't think.
Yeah.
Not to the poor. Like, I know he contributed. He gave a lot of money to colleges. Mm-hmm. Some of them gave his money back, but he contributed a lot of money to colleges. But those aren't the people that he has been standing in front of colleges being critical of.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's given to those poor environments where he talk about, they walk around with the pants sagging and they can't talk. And
yeah.
What has he done to help influence that? If it's something I don't really know.
I don't know if there was.
And I looked up stuff trying to find. He helped black colleges a lot.
Yeah.
But what has he done? I think that he's been talking about the people that he needs to be talking to. But he's been talking to people that ain't in that situation because he's talking to recent grads.
And they're already, they're not the ones that you're saying shouldn't. They're not doing the stuff that you say that is bad for black people to do. So
yeah, and so I felt like he was wholesome, even if it was in his own way that I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
But see, now this situation, it just made me question whether he knew that, because if he knew that he did all this stuff and he still was critical like that, just really kind of make him a sociopath.
Well, and that happens a lot though with people that like do large amounts of things like this. They usually try to make up for it in other ways, or like you have, I'm not gonna name any names, but you have like these pastors that like are out here all against homosexuals, and they riot, and I mean not riot, but they picket and they march, and then shit come out about them and their own little personal stuff. It's like people try to make up for their own misgivings about themselves by putting the focus on other folks. Like, don't look too hard at me because you might see this shit. So let's focus on this other group over here. It's misdirection.
It's valid.
They're very good at misdirection.
That is valid. But that's all I got. Last bit I want to talk about was about Bill Cosby and, how this situation is going to play out.
Alrighty.
It's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting. Well, that leads us into unnatural selection. So most of this is about celebrities. I'm going to start with the two of them are not about celebrities. So let's start with those. Mother Teresa. Well, I guess Mother Teresa is kind of a celebrity. Maybe. Anyhow.
She wouldn't look at it like that.
She would not look at it like that. But so it came out that they are going to make Mother Teresa a saint. The Catholic Church is, the Pope's going to sign off on her sainthood because they proved you have to have like a miracle. You have to have performed a miracle while you were alive. Nobody becomes a saint. I don't think anybody's ever become a saint while they were alive. Usually it happens after they passed.
What's a miracle?
Her
You know what's defined as a
miracle.
miracle?
I'm not.
What was her miracle?
Her miracle was there was a man that was terminally ill who got better after she like went and met with him and prayed over him and then he got better. So that was her miracle. I guess it just now is that I guess the guy's still alive, or because there's this long process. They have to basically you have a group, and no shade to any Catholics out there, but basically you have a group of men judging the lives of these people and looking to see if they are indeed worthy of being saints. And you go through like different steps, and it's kind of like the army with the like lieutenant and sergeant. There's certain levels that you get to before you get to saint. So you can pass through a couple of the steps and fail at once, and then you would just be like, you know, venerable or the blessed instead of Saint Teresa. But so they're gonna make her into a saint, which I mean, I'm not Catholic, but she was cool.
So saint is the highest level?
Yep. And it's very hard for people to be made into saints because of the miracle aspect of it. Okay. And I don't know how they define miracle, but it's usually something like curing somebody or something incurable, or it's something like that. So, which is extremely hard to do. So not a lot of people get that. I don't know who before her. I don't know how long before her, because it doesn't happen that often that people get made into saints. So
it's like the Holy Hall of Fame,
basically.
What the thing that nuns wear, the black
the habits
that they call habits. So they like retire her habit up in the synagogue at the top, so you can see. I mean,
the jerseys.
Yeah, like she ain't got a number or nothing, but you know they can retire that thing up there.
I wonder. I need to look this up because I know they had like the patron saint of da da da. Does she get a thing? Is she going to be like the patron saint of goodwill, or I don't know? Like, does she get a subject? I don't know how that works. Like, I know she's going to be Saint Teresa, but I don't know if she gets like a Saint Teresa of such and such. I don't know how that works, but I don't really get. I think again, no shade to Catholics. It's very man-based. It's a very man-based religion. Like, the priest can absolve you or forgive your sins if you go and confess to them. It's just a very man-focused, man-centered religion. The men are the ones that decide if you become a saint or if you know. It's just very man-centered. Like, I know that these men are the ones that are supposed to have been chosen by God, but it's like, how subjective are they being when they're doing this? I don't know. I've always had a problem with a lot of parts of Catholicism. I haven't participated in any of it, but just hearing about a lot of things that they do, the rules and regulations, it just seems there's so much room for mistake in that, as we see with stuff like priests having, you know, messed with little boys and things of that nature. Like, and the Vatican is like its own. They have their own set of rules. Like, they have their own police. They have it's very separate from everything else. And they are really, really good about handling stuff internally. So then you don't really know what happens, if anything.
I see immediately how Saint West is an offensive name now.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know anything about this stuff. Like, I knew it was offensive, and naming somebody saint in Denmark is illegal, but
that's why
I immediately see that now.
Yeah.
If it takes all of that to become a saint, to just name your child saint, I see.
It's the same way that people would take offense to somebody being named Jesus.
And pronounce Jesus.
Not Jesus. Because that's different. But somebody being named Jesus that's pronounced Jesus is the same way. Like, what are the Kardashians, are they religious at all? I know Kanye ain't Catholic, but I don't know what Armenians practice. Because they're Armenian, so I don't know what they do. But it is just...
They American, right? They, second generation American?
Yeah, but they still could practice whatever
They could. I have no idea.
The culture does. Like, you have Indian Americans that are still sometimes do Hindu. So, I don't know.
I have no idea what faith. But I'm pretty sure that they named that child that knowing about all of that.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. That it's for the controversy. It's for the publicity of it. It's unfortunate for him to have to be walking around called Saint. But yeah,
I wonder what his middle name is, because he probably used that.
I don't know that they have middle names. I think it's just Saint West. Maybe he does have them. Shit, I don't know. You know, I try not to.
Maybe he'll tell people to call him Say. Just call me Say or Ain't.
Oh God.
What up? What up, Ain't?
Hey, Ain't, what's going on? The next thing that I have that's not celebrity related is just something that I need y'all to stop doing. Okay, like, and I know I don't have any kids, and y'all, you know, there may be a lot of people who disagree with me, and I'm gonna tell you now, I don't give a shit. On my feed, I am so tired of seeing people with little small kids with head full of weave. Like, what? When did this become a thing? I'm talking about like down to their legs, weave, braids, little pea heads with like 8 packs of hair. What? Why? Why on a 5-year-old? For what? Why are you doing that? Just comb her hair. Like, damn. And you don't even have to comb her hair every day. I ain't even saying, I know moms are busy, especially if you're a single mom. I get it. But braid her hair, right? Comb her hair. Why are you putting 8 packs of damn hair on it? Like, every time I see it, I just want, and I know I wouldn't do anything, I just want to send a mom a message and be like, you need to be slapped. Like, bitch, what? What is wrong with you? I showed you 2 pictures.
Yeah.
So you saw what it
and
looks like.
And I seen some before that, listen, y'all, kids' little bitty necks ain't made to be carrying 2 pounds of hair on their head. Like, they necks need to naturally come into its strength. You remember when they was a little baby and they could hold their head up? Like, they necks is righteously still about made of cartilage. You know what I'm saying? So you putting a whole bunch of packs of weave in this kid's head, they gonna have problems at 30 with holding their head up because their neck gonna have too much stress been put on it.
If you need an example of this, if nobody on your feed, and hopefully they're not, if nobody on your news feed is doing this, look at Christina Milian. Her daughter, Violet, she had a picture that she posted, I think it was like during the little girl birthday, of Marley braids. She's like fucking 5 years old. Why do you have Marley braids in her head? Like, are you serious? Like, you can't even see her head.
They're about as heavy as they get.
Yes, and her head is so teeny tiny, and you got these big ass braids, and they are long braids, down to her knee braids. And I've seen people that I know on my timeline that are doing this to their kids too. Like, what? And I know your mama didn't do that to you. I know your mama combed your hair.
Hot comb,
probably.
And burnt your head every now and then.
With the popping of the grease. But please, y'all, listen. Just don't do that to your kids. Like, then when your kids don't have no edges or their hair won't grow, you wondering, wow, you want to blame the dad and talking about his side of the family just got a bad grade of hair and shit. No. You putting all of that shit in your daughter's hair is why she ain't got no hair. Stop doing that. Just comb her hair. Put it in braids. You can put your child's real hair in braids. Leave it up for a week. I'm not saying you gotta get up every morning and do the child hair. I know kids don't like having their hair done. I remember being a kid and I hated sitting in the floor between my mama's legs letting her do my hair. I get it. I'm not saying do it every day. You can do something with their hair that will allow you to not have to do their hair every day. That isn't putting 8 packs of heavy ass weave in somebody's head. Like, I just don't understand that shit. Every time I see it, I just get furious because I think about them poor babies' heads. Why are you doing
after
this?
After 2 days, them kids probably, Mommy, my neck hurt. Mommy, my neck hurt.
Kids in school putting their head on the desk and the teacher talking about, why is your child so tired? She not tired. Her neck is.
Yeah, her neck can't hold her head up no more.
She just had to put it down on the desk.
Look, please, parents, and I know parents. I know that this is a current societal trend and your kids going to look up and say, hey, Mommy, I want my hair like this. But you are the parent.
Exactly.
You say no. You don't pay no bills around here. Do you know how much a pack of that hair costs? That pack of hair costs enough all that packs of hair costs enough to give you school supplies for 2 years. And I'm not finna pay for that. When you start getting some bills, when you start paying for stuff, you can buy your own packs of hair and you can put all the stuff in your head you want to, but you are 5 years old. Your little neck ain't gonna be able to hold all this hair and I'm not finna buy it for you.
Exactly. And you say it exactly like he just said it. Exactly like that. Oh my God. I just don't understand. And no, I don't have kids. So yes, this is coming from somebody that don't have kids, but I can guarantee you, write this shit down. I could have a daughter tomorrow. You will never see a picture of my. I wouldn't put that much weave in my own head, and my neck is strong, so I know I would not put it in my child's head. Like, I'm not. What for? What? And then I don't like when people like do adult things with kids or make kids look like adults. They're kids. This is my main problem. One of my main problems with Kim Kardashian and the way that she dresses North. Now, people talk shit about Beyonce, and I'm sure Beyonce and Jay-Z got they flaws as parents, because everybody does. But one thing I will say, Blue Ivy always looks like a little girl. Blue Ivy have her little afro puffs. She have her little girl dresses on. She looks like a child. Kim done be dressing North like North is 23 years old and shit, with leather pants and shit. She's like 2. Like, there's no reason why. And so then you do that with these small kids, and then when they become teenagers and they think they grown, they out here doing grown people shit, you wonder why. This is why. Let them kids be kids. Damn. She gonna be 16 years old cussing you out soon enough. Don't rush it. Let her be a child. Enjoy this time. Please. Please stop putting this weave in these babies' heads. Okay.
You got it out?
I got it out. Because that been bothering me. It's been sitting on my spirit for the longest. Every time I see one of them pictures, I'm just like, how you look at that and think that's okay? Like, you see that. I'm talking about, you got to think it's okay, because you post the hella pictures up and down my timeline of this shit. So you have to think it's cute. Look at her. Isn't she cute? No, she's not. Ain't nothing cute about that.
She's going to have neck problems when she's 20 years old.
And you're going to be wondering why. It's going to be because of you. And for the ones that I know, I'm going to refer you back to these damn pictures. This is why her back is bad. Because that spine shit, all of that's connected.
It's connected, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Sorry, y'all. I had to say something. I was like, I got to. I have to say something. This is getting out of hand. It's becoming a trend. This does not need to be a trend. It's too much hair. Let's talk quickly about Meek, and then we'll just get into some relationship shit to end off with. So Meek, I talked last week about how they were trying to see if he had violated his probation because he went to the AMAs and he didn't get permission. He did. In fact, they found that he did. So now they're trying to decide what his punishment is going to be. And apparently he was in court on the stand crying, and they have video of it. And Meek has been talking a lot of shit here lately. So, of course, people latched on to that. The fact that he was up there crying on the stand. I still say there are a lot of people who are in similar positions to Meek Mills that are on like probation who don't get the leeway that he gets because of his celebrity, right? So if all you have to do is call up your PO and be like, hey, I'm going to the AMA. Because he obviously gets to go places, right? He's been touring. He toured with Nicki. Obviously, he gets to go places. Why you didn't just tell him? And then there was that whole issue of him taking water for his piss test instead of peeing. Really? And it's like, why are you doing this stupid stuff, though? Like, what's the matter with you?
Well, people who are already on probation don't make great decisions.
Right.
I mean, so it probably go along with how he commonly made decisions. In order for this stuff not to continue to happen, he got to start making better decisions. And apparently not calling your PO about the AMAs and taking pee water to, your drug test, that it's going to get you into a situation.
It is.
You know?
Here's the thing. I don't smoke weed. I've never smoked weed. I imagine it must be wonderful because people just be on it all the time. But is it that deep? Right? You on parole, probation, whatever the case may be. You know they're going to test you. You know that you trying to tour. You dating Nicki Minaj. You have all these things going for you. Would that not be enough for you not to, like, puff up, like, so that you could test clean? I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I feel like the exchange is greater, right? You put down the weed, you pick up all of these other things.
But as a celebrity, you get to have addictions.
You do, unless you're a black celebrity. You're a black rapper on probation. Like, I feel like you're not going to get as much leeway on shit like that as a Charlie Sheen or some of these other people that have these addictions that are in and out.
I'm saying that to say that he doesn't have a strong enough motivator to keep him from participating in the life that comes with alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
A motivator for me and you is if we smoke and get drug tested, we lose our job and we can't pay rent next month.
You right.
For him, he have enough money to potentially pay rent for the rest of his life, and he will manage it right, I imagine. Or at least the big rappers do.
Yeah.
Let's say not. I mean, let's not say if he stay with Nicki forever, he good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying in that regard. But
I doubt that's gonna happen. But that's
the motivator isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
Because they got the money side feel, and so as a celebrity, you can have addictions. You can drink a lot of alcohol and it not affect how you can survive. You can smoke weed and all, and so he have to stop smoking weed on his own self.
Well, now it might cost him his freedom.
Well, it's costing him now, but I think that makes it more difficult for people in a position like him on probation to separate themselves from that life. Yeah, because everybody else got it that he around. Yeah. Everybody else can have it that he around, but he on probation. He have to self-regulate. Yeah. And as I was mentioning before, being in this predicament would dictate that your self-regulation is very poor.
This is true.
So
this is true.
It's a cycle.
Yeah. That leads us into, let's talk about, let's see, where do I want to go first? Do I want to end on a good note?
End on a good note.
Let's end on a good note. So let's talk about Diddy and Cassie. Diddy and Cassie have broken up.
Okay.
And
how long have they been together, you know?
It's been a while.
I know it's been a long time.
When did she come up with that horrible ass song? Like, for you younger people, because she ain't really been a thing. She had that one song, and then she just been Diddy girlfriend. Cassie had a song in, like, 2000... something. 7, maybe before that, called Me and You. It was awful. Her voice is terrible. She couldn't sing. Diddy had to just, because she was pretty. Like, that was it. They've been together for a while, though, like 5 years, maybe, or something like that. They got
a kid together?
No. Mm-mm. He got the twins with Kim Porter, who he was seen out with at some sex shop. So, but I bring up their breakup because he said something in August that I wanted to bring up. And that was a comment that he made on the Breakfast Club about any woman that's in a relationship with him. Any woman that's in a relationship with him needs to understand that she's only going to be happy 75% of the time. 75% of the time, she's going to be the happiest woman alive. He's going to go out of his way to make her happy and do everything he can to keep her happy. But 25% of the time, he going to be on some bullshit. And those are his exact words. 25% of the time, I'm going to be on some bullshit. And you're going to be miserable. What? Here's the thing. Most relationships, the statistics are probably about the same, honestly. Like, you probably do have issues out of your whole relationship, maybe 25% of the time. But my problem is, you're going into this, like, telling me, like, look, I'm going to fuck up. And I'm going to fuck up a lot. Just be ready for that, right? I'm going to make you happy. But I'm going to really mess up, like, so just be, like, why even be in a relationship if you're going to go in it with that mindset, right? Why even bother?
I don't know.
Like, that's and then for her to agree to it, and people are like, well, he got money. That's cool, but here's the thing, what happens with that? The money's great at first. It's great, I'm sure. I'll never know. But I'm sure it's wonderful to just be able to go buy whatever you want or get, Mercedes for birthday gifts or just because gifts and shit. I'm sure it's wonderful. Eventually, though, you're going to want something that person's not going to be able to give you, which in his case, with all of this cheated, is loyalty. And that's not something that you can purchase. And that's not something you going to get from him. And Diddy didn't say we going to both be unhappy 25% of the time. He said you going to be happy. You going to be unhappy 25% of the time. Because the expectation is not for you to be doing bullshit for 25% of the time. That seems unspoken to me. That it's him that's going to be allowed to do this 25%. You supposed to keep him happy 100% of the time. Or you going to be gone. Because that's the way that works. Like, he's not going to put up with the shit he's going to expect you to put up with. Diddy specifically. And I think most men that have that mentality, them too. Like, because most men that, like, believe or won't, it was polygamy, that want to marry more than one. They want to marry more than one woman. Women are not to marry more than one man. Like, That's not the way. It never works that way. It's always one-sided. So I'm not surprised they broke up after he said that. Like, because I feel like it like this. If this something that y'all decided in private, that's one thing. But once you tell the world, you made her look stupid. And now you being seen out with your baby mama.
I mean, I wonder if this is him reflecting on his behavior and his past relationships and realizing quarter of the time I'm on it. So I might as well be upfront about it and honest. Or this could potentially be just a setup for his future relationships. Because at this point, now that that's the dialogue that he put out there, any woman that accepts a relationship with him have to accept that 25%. Yeah. And is he the kind of man that know that 25% exists and you just got to deal with it? Or does he maliciously use that 25%? Because I feel like when you create this kind of dialogue, when somebody like Diddy create this kind of dialogue, it gives you an allowance.
Yeah.
When the goal is supposed to be to keep your person happy 100% of the time, and if you fall short, it may end up being 10 or 15.
Yeah.
But once you say it's 25, you probably gonna fall short of 25 down to probably 50. Yeah. Just because you feel like psychologically you have wiggle room.
Yep.
And so he could be doing this maliciously. He's smart enough to.
I feel like with as arrogant as he is doing it maliciously. Like for him specifically, I really do feel like he just does whatever he wants to because he knows he can. Like I feel like that's exactly what happens. And, you know.
As I've talked about plenty of times, I just feel like that's what comes with a rapper. That's what comes with a CEO. That's what comes with a producer. It don't got to be black.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
CEOs of companies got affairs. They got side mistresses.
Yep. They just don't call them side chicks. They call them mistresses.
It comes with wealth. It comes with this territory. So while I don't feel like anybody should settle less for what they desire, when you get up into that world, you're getting something extra with all of the access you have to financial gain.
Yeah. The problem with that, though, is financial gain only gets you so far because we are human and everybody has that emotional side, women especially. And so while that might be okay for you in the beginning, this is why I tell people I don't believe, this is my personal opinion, that friends with benefits shit never works. And this is why I feel that way. At some point, somebody, and it's not always the female, it's not always the woman, because there was a whole conversation about female. It's not always the woman that is going to be the person that's going to want it to be more. But it is very difficult for two people to spend that amount of time together and somebody not at some point want more than what the initial agreement was. And I don't think that is any different in these situations like this. Like, yeah, you see, oh, I'm going to be able to do this, and he going to keep me good, and I'm going to be dressed nice, and I'm going to have this and that. But at some point, that is not going to be enough. At some point, you're going to want more than that. And this is somebody who's already told you, I am not emotionally available to give this to you. I'm giving you what I have. This, what you get now, what you going to get. Mm-hmm. And then when you get ready to change the rules because you feel differently is where the problem comes in. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened with him and Cassie, is that she feels differently, wanted something different, because she's going to be 30 or she just turned 30, and he not going to give her what she wants. So,
and once that financial aspect of what you got with that person normalizes, once that becomes regular to you, that's when you're going to seek that other stuff. Yeah. That's when you're going to seek the loyalty. Like, you're right, the money part, it don't last forever. But, you know, for the person with the money, it's helpful. Yeah. Because, I don't know what's going on in their relationship, but I don't feel like Jay-Z cheating. Beyonce got all her own money. Like, she don't need Jay-Z money. Nope. And Jay-Z is probably very well aware of that. Yep. You know, she don't have to be on that 25-75. No. If Jay-Z said it on the radio show, he'll be calling back recanting his situation. Beyonce be like, I'm happy 100% of the time. Y'all best believe that.
It's what I tell people all the time in my own life that I know and at work. You're going to get what you think that you deserve, and whatever you're willing to accept, that's what people are going to give you. And so until you feel like you deserve better than that, or, I mean, if that's what you feel like, if that monetary is more important to you, I mean, that's a decision everybody has to make. But you cannot then decide later on, oh, no, that isn't enough. I need this now. Because you signed up for the monetary with the occasional happiness. Yeah. That's 75%. Don't look so good then. But I wish somebody would tell me I got 75% to give you. Like, what? Okay, you keep that. I'm good. That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I mean, same for me. I would not be with that. Like, if it exists, fine. Don't say it. Don't mention it. Don't verbalize it. Don't put it into words. Don't accept that, because he's accepted that all he can give you is 75. He has accepted.
He's not gonna try anymore.
25%. Like, I don't have to do nothing outside of that. I've accepted it. Like, he's submitted to defeat to those numbers. When you should not be submitted to defeat to those numbers. You should be trying to make your mate happy 100% of the time. Is that possible? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's such subjective matter.
Yeah, happiness is subjective.
I mean, clearly, nobody gonna be able to say that it can or can't happen.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
true. Too subjective. It's an individual basis. It's a case by case situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you should never, ever submit to defeat of whatever exists in subjective matter, because it can always change. It can always be interpreted differently, and it can always get better. But once you say it's 75-25, you ain't even thinking about it getting better or worse. You just think that's what it is, and that's a bad path to take in that kind of dialogue.
It really is. That's the bad side of the relationship conversation for this week. I mean, I don't know that this is good. I want to go back to what I was talking about last week when I was talking about ride or die chicks and how I ain't no ride or die dudes. I stand a little bit corrected because I don't watch Love and Hip Hop New York, but it's back on, and this season Remy Ma and Papoose are on there. And I think they are already married. I think they got married while she was locked up, though, and so they just had like this big ass wedding apparently on Love and Hip Hop. But I forgot about him because he held her down, and I don't forget how long she was locked up. He was going to visit her, like he was waiting. He was there to pick her up when she got out. Like they've been together, happy ever since, from what I can see anyway. Mm-hmm. So I guess there are men who you can call ride or dies, and I guess Papoose is one of them, because, you know, I don't know if I was with somebody and they got locked up. There's a lot of moving pieces to that, like, as to how I would react, right? Yeah. I would never, ever call myself ride or die. Like, that is not a term phrase that I would ever use to describe me. Now, are there instances where I would stand by, you know, my significant other? Sure. But there are some stipulations.
So if you had a significant other that and somehow at some point in your marriage was about to go to jail, like, are you cutting that off? Are you done? Or
it depends on what he's going to jail for.
It depends on what he's going to jail for.
Yes. Did he murder somebody?
He didn't murder nobody. He did something enough to put him away for a short period of time, but not bad enough to say that, you know, he has many character flaws. Maybe he's just a dude that got caught up in something that he didn't have much control over or something like that. Let's say he working with a group of people and he got partners and they was mishandling some money and tax purposes, and now he got to serve 2 or 3 years in jail.
I get that's a workable situation. You know, I'd have to see the other.
What about 6 or 7 years?
I don't know about that.
Okay, so we have circumstances in which you will be able to determine how long you could stick with the situation versus not.
Because I feel like because I have stipulations and there's terms, I'm not right. I feel like ride or die is whatever. Like, it don't matter what happened, I'm gonna be here. That shit is not true at all. That ain't me. There are stipulations. I gotta see what the facts are. I gotta see where our marriage was at before you got locked up. Do we have kids? Like, there's a lot of moving pieces to this.
Breadwinner in the situation.
Exactly. Like, what? Are we gonna, like, are our shit gonna get taken because you did this? Like, are we gonna be homeless for these 2 years while you locked up because you did all of this and everything get repossessed? Like, it's just, I would have to see what the circumstances are.
How would you even look at a person like that afterwards?
You're right. Like, yo,
the rest of your relationship, like, the ball is in my court now. We are definitely going where I want to eat. every night.
Because you obviously can't make decisions. Like, yeah, see,
who are your business partners? I need to know them.
Exactly. See, and that's the thing. That's another thing that I would have to take into consideration, because I would never want to be one of those people. If I get to a point where I can't trust you, we don't need to be together. I'm not finna be asking where you at, doing all of that shit. If it ever gets to that point where I can't trust you to make decisions, and somebody that's supposed to be the head of this household, we probably just don't need to be together at this point. Because, yeah, you're right. I may look at you a little differently. You know, you're going to feel emasculated. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So,
yeah,
it just depends. But I am most definitely not no ride or die. Like, would you have waited for Remy? Because Remy was locked up for, like, 8 years or some shit. Like, she was locked up for a while. Would you have waited for Remy? And wasn't it for, like, assaulting somebody? Like,
I would have waited for Remy if her bank account was still available to me. But would I wait for a woman of my same financial situation? And in this scenario, I don't know. I mean, I got boundaries. I got stipulations. I got rules and regulations. I would like to believe that I wouldn't mess with somebody that was going to eventually do something to land themselves in jail. But I don't know. It depends on a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have a problem with looking at them a certain type of way after they got out. I don't think I would have that issue. My issue would be the amount of time. The amount of time that they spend in jail, that would be the determining factor to me, because I'm not with that separation. I'm not with long distance relationships, no way. You know what I'm saying?
And both of you would change, because her environment is going to be completely different from what she's used to. I don't know that you can be in that environment for a substantial amount of time and it not have any impact on you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be out here living your life and possibly change. So that's another thing you have to take into consideration with long amounts of time. People change. Now, when you're together, you're able to grow together. When you're apart, though, a lot of times the growing that you do is in different directions, and shit's hard after that. So. I
ain't trying to deal with my lady coming back and having a shank under her pillow and scared when I get up out the bed. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get stabbed in the kitchen in the middle of the night because, you know what I'm saying, she wasn't
flashbacks and shit, PTSD.
Like, I ain't trying to experience none of that. You know, I don't see Orange is the New Black, because that is an exact depiction of what happens in jail for women.
Hilarious.
I don't want that, but yeah, it is. So like I said, the time
she was locked
that
up
I would
for
have
a
to
while.
be away from that person makes it different. And you know what? Papoose, they got money.
Yeah.
They probably had plenty of conjugal visits. It was probably something where they could.
Well, there's only. I don't know if New York. There's only like 2 or 3 states left in the United States that still allow that. That don't happen anymore.
But you know how they portray like kingpins and stuff on TV.
Oh, wait.
Where, you know, like they got like a
separate little rules.
Yeah, they got like a robe and stuff, and like I imagine that at certain times when it's like people there that you can give $10,000 to all turn a blind eye, I feel like that happens.
Maybe it could.
Because if I was a security guard and I was struggling and somebody said, "Hey, let me get the back of the laundry van for 30 minutes for this 5 to 10 G's," you think I'm gonna say no? To me, that's the only reason that stuff ever happened, just because the people in those situations are very underpaid and underappreciated for what they do and what they have to deal with. So you really leave an opportunity for people that have money and have resources to do that kind of stuff. So if it was that kind of situation, maybe I could deal with it. But if I got to be separated from somebody for 2 years and go visit and write letters, like, that's not my thing, man. I'm not good with that stuff. I know that about I'm not good with going to visit people with stuff. I'm not good with writing and stuff like that. Like, she has the potential to feel real neglected, you know, by me. And so, don't go to jail if you date me or marry me. Don't do it.
That's moral of the story.
That's good advice. I mean, don't go to jail, period. Anybody. Like, do right.
Try not to.
Or don't do wrong, or know that you're not the kind of person that can do wrong and not get caught.
Yeah.
Like, make sure you're a smooth criminal if you're going to do wrong.
Yeah. And most of us are not. I know I ain't. If I ever do anything wrong, I'm getting locked up. Like, I know it. That's why I don't.
My conscience won't let me do that stuff. Like, you know, on TV, how they have an angel on one side and a devil on one side. I got like a big angel and a little angel. The big angel is a little bit more aggressive, and the small one is assertive now. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not like the big angel. The big angel won't let me do nothing. The little angel is like, well, you can do a little bit of that.
The big angel's like, absolutely not.
Exactly. Why are you thinking that way? Don't think about those people like that. The angel like, well, you can craft a way to say how you feel. The big angel like, no, you can't say anything. You get rid of those thoughts and you love those people. Love every one of your neighbors.
Oh God,
that's the angel.
Got a militant angel.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how my conscience works.
Oh God. Well, that's all I have for unnatural selection for the week.
All right.
Well,
you got anything else on your mind?
Cats are still evil.
Cats are not
Look,
evil.
A cat almost attacked my dog. Listen, I'm walking. We minding our own damn business. The cat come up and then he start hissing like we walked up on him. Get your ass on. What you coming over here for? Creepy ass, stray ass cats around my complex. They're creepy and they're evil. And when they take over the world, I'm going to tell you, I told you so.
And I'm going to keep you alive because the cats are going to be on my team. They are going to be happy with me. And I'm going to keep you alive, and we're going to have conversations every day about how gracious the cats have been to you.
Gracious the cats have been.
But we're not going to talk about how crazy Kingston is, though, huh?
I mean, look.
Y'all heard her voice waver like that, didn't you?
Kingston is a very unique, a special little dog, and he has his own personality.
He deserves hisses.
He does not deserve
Sometimes
hisses.
He deserves
He
hisses.
deserves hisses for me, not some random ass, back alley ass, straight ass cat. Creepy ass cats. That's all I have.
All right, then. Cats are awesome. Until we come to the next conversation.
We out.
Holla.